Prime Field.
This is not a story about a minor injury. It is a story about a breaking point. In stores, the latest setback for Ice Brady arrives at the exact moment UConn's front court is solidifying around other names. Serah Strong, Serah Williams, Jana El Alfy. All healthy, all productive, all available. Welcome to Prime Field. In Geno Auriemma's program, the unwritten rule is simple. The best ability is availability. For Ice Brady, a former top 5 recruit whose career has been interrupted by a knee injury in 2022-23 and nagging issues in late 2024, that standard has become an unforgiving measuring stick. As Strong emerges as a high-usage freshman, Williams steps in as an every-night workhorse, and El Alfy anchors the paint. Brady's place in the depth chart is quietly shifted from developing piece to expendable luxury. The central question now is stark. Has this latest out for 2 games ruling effectively ended our UConn chapter and started the countdown to a spring 2026 transfer? To answer that, the documentary turns first to the currency that now defines our reality: availability. In Geno Auriemma's system, availability is not a slogan, it is a selection tool. Serah Williams arrives from Wisconsin with a proven profile, over 30 minutes per game, 19.2 points per night, a track record as a durable, high-usage centerpiece. Since landing in stores, she has not missed a practice, let alone a game. She's present, she's predictable, she is easy to build around. Serah Strong steps into the rotation immediately. In November, she logs 28 minutes per game. Her role is not theoretical. It is already embedded in UConn's nightly game plan. Against that backdrop, Ice Brady's 11.5 minutes per game before December 1st tell a different story. They reflect not only performance, but missed windows. A full season lost to a knee injury in 2022-23. Additional time compromised by nagging issues in late 2024. While Williams and Strong are on the floor, Brady is too often on the sideline. The contrast is stark. Coaches design offenses around constants, not hypotheticals. In this front court, the constants are now Williams and Strong. The variable has become Brady, and as the depth chart tilts toward those who are available every night, another factor quietly reshapes the front court hierarchy: the emergence of Jana El Alfy as the complementary piece UConn needs most. Structuring a front court is less about raw talent and more about fit. In that equation, Jana El Alfy fills gaps that Ice Brady does not. El Alfy offers tangible rim protection, averaging 1.8 blocks per 36 minutes. That presence stabilizes UConn's interior defense and allows perimeter defenders to pressure the ball with confidence. She's also a physical rebounder, pulling down 5.1 boards per game in limited minutes through paint contact and positioning. Brady, by contrast, tends to drift to the perimeter. When she shares the floor with another non-center, UConn becomes vulnerable on the glass. The team loses the interior anchor that El Alfy naturally provides. The numbers support the eye test. Lineups featuring El Alfy carry a defensive rating 8 points better than those built around Brady. The reason is clear. El Alfy absorbs the physical battles with Big East centers. That, in turn, protects Serah Strong from having to take on constant interior punishment. In a rotation built on complementary skills, El Alfy fits the puzzle beside Strong more cleanly than Brady does. Once that fit is established, the next constraint becomes unavoidable. There are only so many minutes to divide. The 2025-26 season introduces a new complication: the guard squeeze. The arrival of USC transfer Kaylee Heckel gives UConn the personnel to run 4-guard lineups for nearly 15 minutes per game. Heckel, AZ Fudd, KK Arnold, and Ashlyn Shade on the floor together compress the need for a second forward. Those minutes, traditionally reserved for record developmental bigs, are now absorbed by perimeter creators. Before December 1st, Brady averages just 11.5 minutes per game. That number is already fragile. It exists at the margins of a rotation that is still in flux. Once she is ruled out for 2 games, those marginal minutes do not sit idle. They are redistributed, primarily to Williams, Strong, and El Alfy. Upon Brady's return, the reality is blunt. To reclaim even that 10-minute role, she would need to displace one of 2 established pillars: Williams, who is playing at an All-American level, or El Alfy, whose defensive impact is quantifiable and trusted. The math points toward a future in stores, and the timing of her removal from the lineup is not incidental. It aligns with a familiar pattern in this program. In this program, December decisions often echo into March. The label "out for 2 games" during the non-conference slate can function as more than a medical update. Historically, December marks the point at which Geno Auriemma narrows his circle. By the start of Big East play, the rotation typically contracts to 7 or 8 trusted players. Ruling out a fringe rotation player in this window carries a secondary effect. It gives the staff permission to consolidate roles without the ongoing obligation to find minutes for a returning piece. While Brady recovers, the chemistry of the core rotation settles. Williams, Strong, and El Alfy gain continuity. The guards refine their 4 perimeter sets. When Brady is again cleared to play, the landscape may have shifted beyond her reach. the rotation will not be hypothetical. It will be established. The cost of reintroducing an already marginal piece, both in rhythm and identity, may simply outweigh the perceived benefit. At that point, the conversation around Brady's future in stores can no longer be isolated to health. It intersects with production and with precedent. Ice Brady entered UConn with the label of a number 5 recruit. In 2025-26, that label no longer protects her. It functions as a sunk cost. On the court this season, Brady averages 2.5 points per game on 50% shooting, but on low volume. The efficiency is there in flashes, yet the usage is minimal. It is the production of a role player, not the profile of a foundational piece in the system. UConn has seen this pattern before. Sailor Poffenbarger, another highly touted recruit, never found a stable role in the stores. After transferring to Arkansas, she immediately stepped into a prominent position, averaging 12.3 points and 6.7 rebounds per game. Mira McLean followed a similar path. She averaged 2.8 points at UConn, then transformed into a high-impact player at Virginia, posting 12.2 points and 9.6 rebounds per game, and becoming a consistent double-double threat before his injury intervened. These cases form a clear blueprint. For some players, the issue is not talent. It is fit. System, role definition, and opportunity can be more decisive than a recruiting rank. Brady's current statistical profile closely resembles that of Poffenbarger and McLean at the moment they chose to leave. The pattern suggests that a fresh start can unlock a different version of the same player. That raises the next question. What exactly is Brady's on-court identity at UConn right now? Within this UConn offense, Ice Brady is caught between positions. She's not functioning as a true stretch 4. For her career, she is shooting 24.3% from 3. Defenses respond accordingly. They sag off her on the perimeter, prioritizing the protection of driving lanes for AZ Fudd and KK Arnold. That spacing issue undercuts the theoretical value of her perimeter face-up game. She is also not a traditional 5 in this system. She does not provide the post-gravity of Jana El Alfy or the elite interior finishing of Serah Williams. When she plays as the lone big, the offense does not organically bend toward her. What remains is the mid-range. Brady operates frequently in that in-between zone, the least efficient area of the floor by modern analytics, without the dominant efficiency or volume to justify building possessions around those touches. In a front court where each primary piece has a clearly defined function, Williams is a high-usage scorer, Strong as a versatile forward, El Alfy is a rim protector and rebounder. Brady's role is undefined. She's a 6'3" forward with a smooth stroke and high basketball IQ, but without a stable home in the current scheme. That ambiguity inside UConn's offense contrasts sharply with how she might be used elsewhere. Projecting forward, the logic points toward the transfer portal in spring 2026. Viewed through that lens, Brady's value changes shape. Instead of being a miscast, low-minute piece on a loaded UConn roster, she becomes a 6'3" forward with high basketball IQ, a soft shooting touch, and untapped usage for programs that build around high-post actions and scoring 4S. Her market would be immediate. In leagues like the Big 12 or ACC, where systems often feature playmaking forwards and high-post hubs, Brady profiles as a top-tier target. The precedent is already in place. Former UConn players such as Poffenbarger and McLean moved into new environments and elevated quickly into double-digit scoring, high-impact roles. There's also an internal model within UConn's own history. Aubrey Griffin, another talented forward, once faced questions about role clarity before eventually carving out a niche. The difference is that Brady's path to that kind of resolution at UConn is now obstructed by Strong, Williams, El Alfy, and the 4-guard lineups that reduce front court minutes. The projection is measured but clear. In a different system, with the freedom to play through mistakes and the runway of starter-level minutes, Brady has the tools to become the 12.8 rebound player she was initially projected to be. The likely outcome is that this evolution happens, but while wearing a different jersey. And that leads to the legacy of this chapter in C Stores. Ice Brady's time at UConn will not be defined by statistics, accolades, or a starring role. It will be defined by what it reveals about the modern power dynamics of elite programs, how availability, fit, and timing can matter as much as talent. The emergence of Serah Strong and the arrival of impact transfers have not merely delayed Brady's breakthrough, they have effectively closed the door on her starting hopes and locked the gate behind them. In that reality, a fresh start in 2026 is less a dramatic twist and more an inevitable next step. Her legacy in Stores, then, is paradoxical. She may never become a central figure in UConn's box scores, but her story stands as a case study in how a highly skilled player can be both a poor fit in one system and a prime breakout candidate in the next.
Prime Field!